You've got the wrong goals. Have you ever felt a disconnect between the goals that you set for yourself, or you have that many ideas that are going on in your mind that they're colliding with each other and they're kind of getting in the way of you achieving clarity? And yes, your goals are about something that you want to achieve in the future. But if you do not feel an emotional connection to your goals, it's game over. Your mind is going to completely sabotage your ability to be able to achieve those goals. So, are you trying to achieve someone else's goals? Or are you setting goals for yourself because you think that it's going to give you some external validation and achieve somebody else's vision of success? And these are questions that we really have to ask ourselves. Otherwise, we get locked in this cycle of frustration, which is quite frankly draining and doesn't help us to show up as our best selves every day. We all have a mission or an assignment that is uniquely ours, that connects with who we are, our strengths, what we want to get out of life, who we're drawn to. This is unique to us as individuals. But here's the problem. At the time when you set goals for yourself, you have the least information about what it's going to take to achieve those goals. And that is why it's important for our goals to be agile. That doesn't mean that it has to be wishy washy. Your goals need to give you a clear set of direction, but you can't be tied to the outcomes because, at best, when you start out, you've got a hypothesis that needs to be tested. And that is what your forward motion is doing, testing the hypothesis. And sometimes thinking about things in that way can help us not to believe that success is a binary thing. You either achieve it or you don't. Setting a goal, I've either achieved it or I haven't achieved it. Because every day that you're taking action, that's giving you information about whether the goal is the right goal, whether it needs to be shaped or tweaked, whether it is actually going to lead to the outcome that you want anyway. But here's another thing that's important. You've got to fully commit to the process and commit to the journey. Sometimes your mind plays tricks on you because we've all been in a situation where we've half committed to the journey. So it gives us a little bit of a get out clause. And if it doesn't quite work out, we can tell ourselves, yeah, I wasn't that committed anyway. But that's not great. You're not giving yourself a chance to really learn about who you are and to show up in the world as authentically you and to gain the insight that comes with committing to a process and a journey. So if you set yourself a goal, commit to it, put your back in it, put your back in it. And you'll need three things prevalent in your mindset. One is to have no fear of success or failure. Both of these fears will sabotage you achieving your goal. If you fear success, you'll do everything within your power to sabotage it. And so many things get in the way. If you've got a big vision and you're surrounded by people who are very much in survival mode, and this isn't about judgment. Life is lifing for a lot of people and they're just trying to get by. But if you are continually in those rooms, you might feel that you're betraying your friends or betraying family members if you're going to rise out of that situation. And that feeling of guilt or loss will prevent you from stepping into the zone that you need to step into. But have you ever thought that actually, if you can find your way through to the success that is part of your goal, then you can be the person that brings people along with you. You can be the person who outstretches your hand and is able to provide the environment, the support, the legacy that other people can now use as a ladder to get to where they need to get to. And you're not going to know that at the beginning of your journey, but you just have to commit to the process. And each stage of your journey will unlock different doors. It's a bit like a game where you start out at level one and you can't see what is inside level 2 until you do all the things that enable you to get through level 1. And sometimes life is a bit like that. You can't see the full array of opportunities, but that you can see enough opportunities ahead of you to step into it and commit to the process. And then there's the fear of failure. I mean, what is failure anyway? What actually is it? What does it look like for you? What's the worst that can happen if you don't achieve the outcome that you think that you want to achieve at the beginning of your journey? Most often than not, it's not going to be that big a deal, but we make it a big deal because we tell ourselves that it's safer not to try. But what happens if you flip the script? It's safer to try. It's safer to go out there and experience the unknown, to do something different, to embrace being uncomfortable. I'm not talking about getting into situations where you feel overwhelmed, but actually feeling uncomfortable is often a signal of growth. So to embrace growth, to embrace learning, you have to embark on a journey that often is unknown, where you're acquiring knowledge, where you're acquiring skills. Think about a toddler and when they commit to the journey of learning how to walk. It doesn't look pretty. They fall down, they stumble. Sometimes we laugh at them and we help them and support them, and then they practice by themselves and they hold on to things. You know, often we've got to look at our journey like that. A childlike approach to things can help us not to think of situations as a complete catastrophe because we're the novice at the beginning. Be prepared to be the novice. There's nothing wrong in that. That's the beginning of a learning journey. And if you committed to that learning journey, at some point you will get better and better. And eventually you'll become masterful at the very thing that you're seeking to do. Or if it's something that you've done for a while and you've decided it's not for you, that's okay too. The second mindset is not to be attached to the outcome. Now, this is really important. This is what's going to give you the mental agility, and it's also going to enable you to create the capacity to evolve and be the person that you're becoming. Let's look at it this way. You needed a mindset and a set of tools to get to where you are today, and celebrate that. But to achieve something that is in the future, you're going to need a different mindset and a different set of tools to take you there. Because if you needed what you have today, you would be where you want to be. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. And you might hear of stories or experiences that people share where they have committed to a journey and they didn't really know what the final outcome would look like, the rooms that it would take them into, the opportunities that would be provided that would open up for them, but they committed to a journey. And this is what I mean when I say not being attached to outcomes. Yes, have some outcomes in mind, but give yourself the opportunity to grow, to evolve, to expand, and welcome that. And the third point is to fully commit yourself to the process. If at the start of a journey you think that something is impossible, then you're going to make sure that you're right. And of course, it will be impossible to achieve because you've told yourself that at the beginning. And when you don't achieve it, you use that as validation for the idea that you had in the first place, which was this is impossible to achieve. But it also shows you the power of the mind. Because when you tell yourself that you can achieve it, your mind is going to find a way to make that a reality. And that is the power of the mind. Don't waste your time and energy setting goals where you believe you're going to fail. It's like having the goal of being able to catch sand and yet pouring sand into an open hand. There's just no way I'm going to achieve a goal because I'm already sabotaging it by my approach. I'm Karen Lanlahin. I'm a coach and a mentor. If what I have said today has delivered value to you, please like and subscribe and share with others. If you would like to work closely with me, I have a school called Pivoting Over 40 where I've created a community where we support each other to make the pivots and changes that we want to make in our lives. If you would like to work even more closely with me, I am a coach and a mentor. I work with people who want clarity, connection, and confidence. You define what success looks like for your life. Don't become the ghostwriter in your own story and don't let others shape your narrative. Your goals are an extension of who you are and a signal of who you want to be. So set goals which align with this. Please look in the description for ways in which you can contact me, and I'll see you over in the next episode.